Hey everybody, I'm Joyo. This is the Short Attention Span channel. We're live at Sam's Club in Colorado Springs, charging the Ford Lightning. Made it almost 6,000 miles, and I'm still alive. So it's National Cowboy Day, from what I understand. So ironically, put this T-shirt on without knowing that, but I did put the hat on for you. So yeah, finally, with some technological issues, uh, finally got to get this thing to work right again. I have been documenting the whole trip and will release probably a few videos with some fun content, some frustrating content, and I'll talk about what didn't make it on because some technical difficulties. But my partner here has been doing excellent. And when you're charging an electric vehicle, you I'd have a plan. Mine was to eat dinner while I was doing it. So this has been one of the nicer charging spots with its approximation to food and that, but it's also not super close to where I've been staying. But let me catch up to speed. So I started out in Tennessee and went to Seattle ultimately with several stops along the way, and then made my way back down through Idaho into Utah and now Colorado. Some of the highlights were Montana, Bozeman, Montana. It's pretty awesome. If I were to move somewhere other than Tennessee, it would probably be Bozeman. If I had some sunglasses, Cosby, sit down, sit, entertain the people. I thought you were gonna dance or something. Anyway, um, yeah, Bozeman, Montana is pretty awesome. Saw an old friend there who graciously put me and Crosby up and had a great time. And then Missoula, saw an old friend there as well. I haven't seen forever. That was great. And then Seattle, had a good time with some family and hanging out. And didn't really see any sights. Did some camping outside of Seattle, which was really cool. And yeah, played some awesome golf outside of Butte, Montana. Played okay golf in Bozeman, Montana. Then I played a course in Twin Falls, Idaho. That was kind of like on the bucket list. It was in the canyon, and that too was really cool. Still going, still going. Uh, so yeah, lots of cool things to do and see. Saw a lot of the drive between Bryce Canyon and Grand Junction, Colorado was probably the best drive as far as scenery goes. But I mean, I didn't really have a bad day driving, but charging has certainly been a challenge. You really got to plan ahead. But after the first few days, I kind of got a handle on it. Bozeman was a little rough because there wasn't a lot of charging stations that were working, but thankfully, since I was staying with someone, I was able to plug into their regular outlet. And since I was there for a couple days and not driving a lot, got me enough to get out of town and get to a better charger. Um, and then, surprisingly, like in the cities like Seattle, for instance, there wasn't a lot of great options. And then Minneapolis was the same, not a lot of great options there. And Minneapolis was really expensive too. So kudos to you, my old hometown. But it was a lot of fun, learning how the truck works. There's some stuff that's frustrating, using it with a tent. Um, tent that goes in the back that we've been camping in mostly, which has been pretty good. The car, like every time you leave a door open, it lights up like a Christmas tree, and I don't know how to turn it off. I was reading some threads, and I think that there's kind of like a hack that you can do that I got to figure out, but there's not a setting. But it's really frustrating, especially if you leave a door microscopically open. You can't figure out why the lights won't turn on. Which, hey, can you lay down or sit down? Just chill out. For a vehicle that runs solely on electricity, you'd think conserving power might be on its list, but maybe it doesn't cost or use a lot of power when you're using the lights. So, pardon me for eating dinner. But one of the nice things about the lighting system, though, is when you are doing something in the dark, such as setting up a tent or whatever, ozone lighting works really well, and you can kind of see what you're doing and things. But yeah, but there's been a lot of good hiking. Bryce Canyon was really a great place to visit, but since I had the dog, I didn't get to hike there. Now I think about it, I don't think I've done hardly any hiking. Except we did take Crosby on a hike in outside of Seattle at Snoqualmie Falls, which we got some good footage there. Uh, but tomorrow I'm leaving Colorado Springs and starting to make my way home to Knoxville. Since I'm what some people call a cinephile, I think I'm going to stop in Nashville to see Oppenheimer on an actual IMAX screen, the actual IMAX film, which I'd be really curious to see how much I can tell the difference. But somebody got it in my head that I gotta see it on a real film. So we'll see, whatever. But it's the second movie they made about nuclear bomb because uh, most people don't know those tests that they did in Arizona were all filmed on a soundstage, same place they filmed the moon landing. So, yeah. So we'll see how. I guess the prevailing it Stanley Kubrick did the first one, and now we'll see how Christopher Nolan does with Oppenheimer. But the truck did a little off-roading outside of Utah. We hit the Utah flats and to see how fast we could go. I got a little nervous when I started reading about the Utah flat or salt flats. It said, "Don't drive on the flats unless you know it's a road because they have sinkholes." And being that the truck is pretty heavy due to its weight, that was kind of a pain. So one thing I found out this week, though, is they lowered the price on the Ford Lightning shortly after I bought it. And being that I ordered it and it was delivered straight from Ford, it was like I did pick it up at a dealer, but the dealer really isn't too much in on the loop as far as even when it was going to actually show up. But then, so I would think that Ford, knowing that people ordered something that they were going to buy, this isn't a decision they made, the day before. So they should have probably maybe put a stop to orders being processed or something until they give some people a little bit of time. But some poor person in customer service is going to have to hear all about that from me here shortly. I'm going to keep you updated. I'm going to make a longer video on that. I also got a free charger, which is great, but the installation charge is a lot more than other installation charges for vehicle chargers. And then the backup system, which I was super excited about because my power goes out a lot in the woods, is really expensive. And I'm no electrician, so I don't know what all is entailed, but I kind of thought like if you got the charger, you just have to cross a couple wires and then it'll work. But apparently that's not how it works. So I'm just learning a lot, being an EV owner. Um, but I did get it washed after a while. I also used something called Bugs Be Gone by Seafoam. Great product because there was a lot of bugs on the front and they were stuck on there pretty good. Um, but Crosby also, he had a fun time. Over here. Come over. Say hi to people. Can you sit down and be pretty? You gonna lay down? Okay. Um, Crosby got to go to a dog pub yesterday and today. It was a great place that has all astroturf enclosed, and you can sit there and have a drink while your dog runs around. Um, Sad to say, I've learned that Crosby's a nerd. I think, in some sense, or he's just like maybe not a nerd, but he's kind of well, he is a nerd because he's super smart. Although he can run very fast, he like doesn't want to play fetch or do any sports of any kind. So he's pretty crazy. So got some people looking at me. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish my pizza next week or this week when I get home. I'm gonna have some stuff finally get some content start to be pushed out and kind of like a review slash what it's like on the road with the EV vehicle. My favorite episode certainly will be the day that I may or may not have run out of electricity. So please like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that at the beginning. And have a great day. And boom.